Hello everyone and welcome to the Fudge Nugget Kingdom. My name is Genesis9876 and welcome to a new game for the channel called Apollo Justice Appeal to Truth. Now this is a fan game of the Phoenix Wright series, and for those of you who don't know, I absolutely adore the Phoenix Wright series. I think I played the main trilogy of games at least 10 to 15 times, and it is so well written, the characters are so memorable, that when I eventually finished all the main games in the series, I took to the fan games, playing fan games like Phoenix Wright Contempt of Court, which I absolutely loved, Phoenix Wright Conflict of Interest, which I loved as well, and of course, this project. Now, this is a fan game project that started last year by a creator named MasqueradeDemure. I might have said that wrong, so correct me on that if I did. And I remember really liking it when I played it last year, however, I don't really remember much about it, and Case 3 is pretty much on its way, since this fan game is still in the works. So I thought, you know what, why not take a trip down memory lane, why not play this game again, and, you know, refamiliarize myself with it for Case 3, and why not record it for the channel so that hopefully this fan game can get some more love, because I feel like this project is really underrated, and I feel like it deserves more love than it's getting. Anyway, without further ado, let's freaking do this! Episode 1, Turnabout Dawn. See, we got here at the perfect time. Come on, cheer up a little. Here, let me show you what I found. This way. Hold on, Hey, let go! Well, come on then. Alright, I'm coming. Ooh. Look, isn't it just perfect? And the weather decided to clear up just in time. Ooh, that's a pretty sky. Just look at that sky, exactly! I didn't know there was a view like this so close by. Ha, I knew you'd love it. I'll go get everything set up for you, okay? Don't worry, I'll be extra careful with the telescope this time. Oh, you really don't have to— Hey, wait up! I can take care of it, really! I seriously doubt that. Alright, let's— No, this is— What's wrong? You shouldn't— don't come any closer! Eep! Oh, we got a phone call ring. The police are on their way. And Apollo Justice is about to be on the case. Oh, May 26, 10:43 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 3. Ah, the old familiar courtroom. Don't we all just love this place? We've seen it throughout the entire main Phoenix Wright games. By the way, I should also mention that this game is intended to be an alternate universe version of the fourth game in the series, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. So this is a fan game that's essentially an alternate universe, which is interesting because I'm curious to know the nature behind this alternate universe. Like, I want to know what the creator exactly changed between the main game and the fan game. May 26, 10:43 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 3. Oh, it's Apollo. Honestly, I think I was kind of looking forward to today. After all the busy work at the office, I'd finally get to actually do something. I'd finally be properly working alongside a respected defense attorney. I really should have known better. Indeed, if you will not repent at once, then— I'm not sure who's talking. Oh yes, it's coming to me. Great calamity will strike. The stars shall rearrange the path of your future. Avoid the fate laid out by the cosmos. Lay your sacred time at our feet, or you'll face the foul consequences. Look, we've already given your trial 2 time extensions. It's almost been an hour. Wait, no! You surely know what constellation becomes most visible tonight. Do you not know the legends of old? You will condemn yourself to a terrible fate. Please let me recount the mythos behind the stars to you, or— That's really not necessary, ma'am. Well, what would you— How about a reading? Let the sky above paint your future into the cards. You'd believe in that more than? This is a fan game, so obviously there's going to be some typing errors here and there. I mean, there were some typing errors in the original Phoenix Wright series. The original series wasn't perfect. There were so many typos in that game. You'd believe in that more than some sacred mythos, wouldn't you? Eep! Are you alright? Ooh, she pretty. I don't know if I want to do a high-pitched voice, though, because the high-pitched voices I've done in Amori made my voice crack, like for Basil. So I think I'm just gonna stick with a regular British accent. Sir Apollo, he took my cards. Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I'm usually much better at the whole mystical thing. It's just under pressure, well... I can try calling again if it makes you feel any better. Or maybe you can just sit down on the couch, calm down a little. We still got some time until the trial starts. Sort of. He's left us, hasn't he? Who? Well, I can't say he wouldn't. Who? That's it then. No attorney, no freedom, no research, no future. Just concrete ceilings and... Whoa, who is this? What do you mean no attorney? Are you blind? Oh, hey! It's you! For those of you who don't remember, he's from the 5th Phoenix Wright game, though I remember you not looking too well in that game, Clay. I remember you not looking too well at all. I mean, just look at him. I'll give this guy my regular voice. Apollo, come on, at least look a little confident. You're letting me down here. Don't just charge in here like that. You're gonna give me a heart attack. Look, Andrea. Apollo may not have a trial's worth of experience yet, but he's been studying as a lawyer for months now. He's more than a suitable replacement. I can't think of any up-and-coming defense attorney I'd rather have. Thanks, Clay. You know what? I appreciate your vote of confidence. This is Clay Tarrant. He's been my closest friend since middle school. When he offered this case to our office, I knew we had to take it, no matter what. And now we're already letting both of them down. Aw, come on, Apollo. Have more confidence in yourself. Andrea Medina, she's a friend of his. I think. She's been working as an astronomer at a small research center. Apparently her workplace has started some sort of partnership with where Clay works. That's how the two of them met. Clay, I'm not sure if I can... Come on, Apollo. Don't you think you've been preparing for long enough? I'm sure you're more than ready to handle a real case. I don't think I have much of a choice either way. I'm sorry, Sir Clay, but even I know what kind of cases are missed by their lead attorneys. But it wasn't missed by your attorney. My deepest apologies, Sir Apollo, but you have yet to fully trod your destined path. Why, even the farthest dwarf planet could recognize that. Oh, come on, not this again. You weren't ditched out on, okay? If there'd been any plan to skip out on your case, Apollo wouldn't even be here. That's true. Besides, we've got raw talent right here. It's not like he's fresh out of law school. He's been studying for a while now. It's going to be fine, right, Apollo? What? Huh? Fine! Oh yeah, right. You'll be fine! I love the ... dots. I mean, look, I'll do everything I can. We might only have to last until my boss gets here anyway. My boss being Christoph Gavin? Keyword being might. Or is it Phoenix now? And I'll be testifying today, okay? You can trust me, can't you? Alright, I'll give it a shot. That's more like it. Oh, well then, Sir Apollo, Sir Clay, if the stars hold even the smallest fortune, I give you both their blessing. Oh, I wasn't finished. Sorry. Being the closest thing to the messenger of the mystic sky, its unknown mysteries, Sir! We can't delay this trial any further. Please proceed to the courtroom. Right, alright, I can do this. Don't worry, I'll be right there with you, Apollo. Oh, you! Huh? Me? Aren't you a witness? Shouldn't you be in the prosecution's lobby? Oh, yeah, right. Of course, I am. Just wanted to wish the defense good luck and all. Sir, you're not allowed to be in this area. Alright, got it. Leaving now. Come on, take a chill pill, bailiff. You got this, Apollo. You'll be fine. Witness! Okay, I'm going. Thank you, Clay. I really appreciate it. Alright, I guess this is it. Not exactly how I wanted to start my career, but I don't really have a choice at this point, do I? Well, you've got your wish now, Justice. Try to keep the case together, at least. May 26, 10:52 a.m., District Court. Oh, there's Winston Payne. And there's the good old judge that's practically presided over almost every single trial that we've had in the entirety of Phoenix Wright. And now, of course, is the time for me to use my sophisticated judge voice. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Court is now in session for the trial of Andrea Medina. And of course, my Winston Payne voice.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is, here, Your Honor.
Yes, you certainly took your time.
What else would you expect from a rookie attorney like him?
Well, I'd certainly like to start in a timely manner. Even someone without a law degree can do that much.
Wait a minute, this isn't my fault.
I don't quite see how—
I wasn't scheduled to defend today, sir. I mean, Your Honor.
Well now, there's nothing to shout about. Calm down.
Sorry.
But now that I think about it, I remember reading a name I knew on the case briefing earlier.
Who?
And I certainly haven't seen you before. Yes, you have unique qualities I have recognized.
I'm just gonna ignore that. I was just supposed to be serving as a co-counsel today, actually. To tell the truth, I haven't been in charge of a case before.
This is your first trial too? Well, that certainly explains a few things. Your name is...
Apollo Justice, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Justice. If you need advice or a moment to think, do ask. I've been doing this for quite a while, you see. I'd like to think I'm something of an expert. Think of me as your substitute mentor for the time being.
As long as it puts you in a good mood, Your Honor. The power of sucking up.
And here I thought I might lose out on the verdict today. Well, allow me to extend my thanks.
You're welcome.
A flawless victory like today's will certainly make me look good. I'll do more than keep my position, yes? This is already bringing me back to my glory days.
Oh yes, I remember your first few years were really something, Mr. Payne. Weren't you something baby killer back then?
Not quite, Judge. You're kind of close, but not quite.
Your Honor!
I'm close, aren't I?
Sorta. Not really, now that I think about it.
Oh, why, of course you are!
Yes, I thought so. Well then, I think we should get on with today's opening statement. If you would, Mr. Payne.
Gladly!
Oop.
2 days ago, the police received a report of a body found in the trunk of a car. That body was that of our victims, one Mr. Credence O'Ryan, the employer of the defendant. Or ex-employer, I suppose. He also just so happened to be found in the very car she was riding in. We even found traces of the defendant's fingerprints all over the lab coat he was found in.
Lab coat added to the court record.
It's true, we could only find one set of clear fingerprints. But as you may know, it's quite difficult to retrieve fingerprints from fabric. Even with recent technology, Your Honor. The fact that we could even find that set, well, I believe it has quite a connection to the rest of the story. A story where forensics traces the crime back to the victim's own research center. Which, may I add, our defendant happened to have been working at earlier that very day. And discovered that she'd put the poor man straight off of the balcony.
Oh, dang.
His body had fallen straight onto the sundial in the front garden, as seen in this photo here.
Oh, okay. Research center photo added to the court record.
Then she stuffed the body into the trunk of the car and rode off.
Oh my, quite a gruesome image indeed.
Ah, yes, as it tends to be in these cases, Your Honor. Luckily, for those more lacking in imagination, the evidence can also paint a clear picture.
Orion's autopsy report added to the court record. We getting a lot of evidence all of a sudden. Crime photo added to the court record. Can't you just submit the evidence without trying to insult me? It's the prosecution. What do you expect, Apollo?
Well, I simply expected more of a reaction from the defense, that's all.
You do have a motive as well, right, Mr. Payne?
Well, why, yes indeed. You know me too well, Your Honor. Recently, our little defendant got wrapped up in something of a scandal. She just so happened to be in the process of publishing a research paper that was, well, uncannily similar to that of her fellow employers. And to think that it was supposed to be quite the bit of research, too.
Wait a second, I didn't hear anything about this.
Well, that would make sense, seeing as this wasn't your case until a few minutes ago.
Yeah, of course.
Now, as I was saying...
Hold it!
What is it now?
Sorry. Probably should have spoke up a bit earlier. I was just wondering if maybe I could, talk with my client about this for a moment. Seems kind of important. Or maybe I can just yell at her from over here?
Bruh.
Please.
If you must know, your client denies all plagiarism accusations raised against her. Please just read about it instead of bothering the whole court with further requests.
It was an understandable request. I mean, come on. Newspaper article out of the court record. Right, sorry. If only someone had given me a heads up about namely my client. Just having to take on a whole trial on my own? That would have been nice.
Now, as you can imagine, a scandal like this wouldn't reflect well on the victim's humble little research center. A small research center such as his doesn't have much over its competitors. Except for integrity, of course. Let me ask you this, Mr. Justice. If His Honor discovered that you were using some unlawful tactics during this trial, and came to you threatening to ruin your name and your budding career as a lawyer, how would you react?
Think carefully about how you phrase your answer, Mr. Justice. The judge is gonna throw hands.
Well, obviously I wouldn't kill you, Your Honor.
It may not be the perfect analogy, but I think we all get the idea, don't we?
Yeah, I guess it gets the point across.
Then I think we can agree we've established enough information to move on. The prosecution would like to call its first witness to the stand.
Oh, hey, Clay.
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Clay Taryn, professional astronaut. In training. But still professional.
Mr. Taryn, on the day of the
Yo, can I just say something real quick?
I guess so?
You guys need to take it way easier on Apollo. This is the first case, and here you are giving him a hard time for something that isn't even his fault. I mean, it's the point. Aren't courtrooms supposed to have something called, courtroom etiquette?
Well, why, of course, I couldn't agree more with...
Don't think I'm on your side just because I'm testifying as your witness. I'm going to tell it just how it was, so don't get upset when Apollo turns it against you. Clay? This might not go over so well.
I'm not quite sure I like this witness being so friendly with the defense. But I suppose calling him to the stand was your choice, Mr. Payne.
Well, Your Honor, he just so happened to be the one who first reported the murder. He was driving the defendant out of town so that she could go stargazing. Or so she told him.
Oh, hair flip.
But I think it's plain to see she planned to use this car to smuggle the body away from the scene. How sad to be used so carelessly.
Come on, there's no way that's what she was thinking.
What type of relationship do you have with the defendant exactly, Mr. Taryn?
Well, I work at the Cosmos Space Center, and we'd recently started a partnership with Andrea's workplace. Helping out a small research center like theirs makes us look pretty good, Since I'm the junior member at my workplace, sometimes I'm told to go over there and run some favors. So yeah, I ended up getting to know her fairly well.
So you're a friend of the defense. And the defendants.
Why don't we hear the testimony before we make any assumptions? Hang on right now, Judge. I ain't trying to do anything right now.
Very well. If the witness could please testify about what happened before discovering the body.
Oh, witness testimony. Let's go. First witness testimony. At the scene. I pulled up at the research center at around 8 o'clock, maybe? I left the trunk unlocked so Andrea could put her stargazing equipment up inside like usual. I was in the building for about 20 minutes before we left. She was ferrying everything to the trunk at first, and yeah, I wasn't keeping too close an eye on her. But later she realized she'd lost her research notes, and we spent most of the time trying to find them. There's no way she could have had time to kill her boss and hide the body. She's not the murderer.
Witness, there's no need to add such a subjective statement to your testimony.
Well, I'm not sure that I support the last statement's inclusion. It does raise a good point. I could believe the defendant committing the deed in 20 minutes, But if that time was cut into by a search with a witness...
Oh, please! Are we really treating this like some sort of time-consuming ordeal? It'd be easy! While she was off gathering her things, the defendant could have easily pushed the victim off the balcony. Then she could have gone outside pretending to be preparing to leave, when in reality she was covering her tracks. Why, it's no different than me going up to the gallery and pushing someone down, then coming down here and hiding them behind the bench. It'd take no time at all. Hair flip! If you're still not convinced, maybe I can call in the defense's aid for demonstration.
What do you mean by that? Wait, hang on. Are you threatening to push me off?
Well, that could be entertaining.
Judge! Excuse me! Your Honor, you're not actually going to let him push me from the gallery, are you? I could catch you if you want. I don't know if that would do much of anything, Clay.
I suppose that would be a little excessive.
A little? A little, exactly! And here I thought lowering was supposed to be a safe job.
I doubt it you need any more convincing. My reasoning is as solid as it gets. But I suppose we do have to let the defense take a crack at it.
Very well then, the defense may proceed with its cross-examination.
Okay, my first cross-examination. I can do this. It's just Clay. I can trust him to work with me. Whether I'm ready or not, here comes justice. Cross-examination. Let's do this. Okay. I pulled up at the research center around 8 o'clock, maybe? Hold it! Just so you know, for people who haven't played the Phoenix Wright games before, it's always good to, like, press every statement, and you press it by, just saying hold it on each statement, and there's a chance you can get more information, which will ultimately help your case. Maybe? How confident are you about the timing? Kinda confident. It was getting dark, so it sounds about right. Are you sure that's what it was like when you arrived? Oh, come on, you know me. I'm not the type to stress out about the time. You usually do that for me. Oh, yeah, hey, wait a second.
The witness's timing matches up with testimony from his co-workers. Now the prosecution would appreciate it if he could be more exact.
Well then, I see no reason to fixate on the matter any further.
I left the trunk unlocked so Andrea could put her stargazing equipment inside like usual. Press. You said like usual, so you've done this before, right? Yeah, Andrea can't drive, and public transport doesn't exactly take you to good stargazing spots. Is there anyone else who would know about this? Well, it's not like the trunk was wide open, it was just unlocked.
Trying to find a convenient third party, are we?
I'd really appreciate a convenient third party if that counts. And to be fair, a lot of the times there's always a convenient third party in these games. I was in the building for about 20 minutes before we left. What exactly were you doing at that time? Well, I was kind of just waiting around in the lobby. Most of the employees had left, so there weren't many people to talk to.
The crime occurred just a few minutes after work had gone out at the center. Hair flip! In other words, the perfect time to commit a murder.
You're gonna have to wait until night if you want to go stargazing in the first place.
Well, yes, by that same reasoning.
Could we please argue over more relevant details here, Mr. Justice?
Right, sorry. Why does it have to be my fault? Can't he at least call it the prosecution too? Yeah, he was arguing as well. Come on. She was ferrying everything into the trunk at first, and yeah, I wasn't keeping too close an eye on her. Oh. Do you know what exactly she was bringing with her? Well, she has a telescope she loves to death, but it's so big it needs to be taken apart into multiple pieces. And sometimes she needs to grab a research notes or a few star charts. Oh, we also need folding chairs for the both of us. That's very important. Folding chairs are 100% important.
A shame you weren't courteous enough to help out. You might have caught her in the act.
It's not like that. I normally would help out in that kind of situation, but the last time I was kind of running down the stairs, and well, I may have tripped and broken a part of her telescope. When I showed up that day, she was going on about how I'd been cursed with a poor spiritual disposition. Very subtle, I can tell. Well, she was trying at least. But later she realized she'd lost her research notes, and we spent most of the time trying to find them. Hold it! Can you explain the search in a little more detail, please? Well, Andrea came and found me a little while after I'd arrived, looking kind of panicked. We searched the whole place together to try and find her notes, but we came up empty-handed. Like I said, I was with her the whole time, so there's no way she could have been covering up our murder. And did you notice anything suspicious at all? No, not really. We were in a bit of panic, so I wasn't really paying much attention to small details. Sorry, Apollo.
There's no need to apologize for simply telling the truth. Don't let the defense guilt you into making up convenient details. You'll be playing right into his hands.
Come on, everyone can tell you're just saying whatever makes you sound better. Calling you out, Payne.
What? Not at all. I'm a very talented, law-abiding prosecutor. But make sure you put that down in the record, please.
Make sure you put his last statement down too while you're at it.
God!
He made that way too easy. There's no way she could have had time to kill her boss and hide the body. She's not the murderer. Press that. Can you testify to the defendant's character, maybe? Of course.
Oh, is the defense really trying to substantiate this witness's baseless claim? Your Honor!
I just want to point out that you're the one who called him in.
What is it?
Look, Your Honor, the defense and the witness are in cahoots. Cahoots! They're trying to undermine my case.
No, it's not that much of a problem. You prosecutors do that sort of thing all the time, don't you?
Calling you out!
Your Honor!
That's all of it. I know, Clay, he isn't lying, but one of these statements has to be faulty. Otherwise, my chances are going to get even slimmer. This is just the beginning. I can't afford to slip up now. Okay, so now that we pressed everything, no new information has popped up. So, it's best that we try and find the contradiction in the statement, and, we do that by, finding the statement that seems faulty and presenting the evidence that contradicts it. So, what would that be here? Gotta start thonking. Gotta be a good thunker. He pulled up at the research center around 8 o'clock, and when was the body? Like, when was he killed? Killed around 8 to 8:10, so that kind of makes sense. I'd group that under around. She was ferrying everything to the trunk at first, and yeah, I wasn't keeping too close an eye on her. Okay. And if we check the crime photo... Wait, there's no other equipment! There's no other equipment in the car! Can we use that? Is that something we can use? Maybe? Let me save first. I want to save. Okay. And present. Yep, we got it, boys! Yes! Your Honor!
Oh, did you find a contradiction, Mr. Justice?
Yeah?
Well, you see, when you find a contradiction...
I know what to do, Your Honor. I went to law school.
Oh.
Please, try not to be too disappointed.
Well, it's just that you hesitated for a moment.
It's only because this is my first time. Well, there goes what little pride I had coming into this. Will the court look at this photo, please? Clay, I mean the witness claims that Andreo's packing equipment in the trunk of the car, right? Well then, why isn't it in this photo?
Ha! The answer is beyond obvious. The defendant had to make room for the body.
Well, yeah, but where would she have hid the equipment then? Wait a second, I think I could actually get somewhere with this. There's no way the defendant would have had time to take anything off the scene entirely. And Clay was in the lobby. Even if he wasn't paying that much attention, he should have noticed if she brought near everything back inside.
Well, she could have simply hid them somewhere outside.
If that was the case, then surely they would have been found during your investigation. Or am I wrong? Alright, we're getting somewhere. Just keep it up. Clay, was there anyone else in the building while you were waiting? Anyone at all? Yeah, the last few employees were still leaving. I even saw a few go by.
Wait! Please, let's not start saying anything crazy. Your Honor, do you remember what we established before the testimony about the witness being biased?
I'd like to point out that you're the one who called him in.
Why, yes, I seem to remember something like that.
The defense's contradiction is completely reliant on the witness. Namely, the fact that he allegedly didn't see the defendant return inside with her belongings.
Are you trying to suggest Clay is lying to the court, Mr. Payne?
It's quite possible his mind would slip on a few details. Didn't we all hear him say things like, I wasn't keeping too close an eye on her and even she's not the murderer?
I was just getting a little enthusiastic is all. I mean, that's all. I'm not biased or anything.
The prosecution does make a good point. I'm not sure that the defense should be able to found a case on his friend's testimony alone.
Exactly!
But at the same time, we can't completely ignore his claim either. It is his first contradiction after all. Yes, that would just be demoralizing.
Yeah, first contradiction privileges.
Of course, Your Honor!
Does he really believe what I'm trying to say here, or is he just pitying me? He's just pitying you, Apollo. Get used to it.
Taking this into account, I would like to hear more of the prosecution's argument. Preferably not from this witness if possible.
So, I'm done testifying?
Yes, I'd say so.
Nice, make some room, Apollo. What? hey, wait a second. Oh,
The defense will refrain from allowing witnesses to leap over the bench from now on, please.
well, he is the prosecution's witness, Your Honor.
Oh, that is very true. The prosecution will refrain from allowing their witnesses to leap over the defense's bench from now on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
How is this my fault?
Well then, I'm assuming you have no more objections, Apollo. I mean, a little more warning would have been nice, but as long as we're in the clear, no objections here. Just having him here is probably going to be more help than I'd like to admit.
Are we all settled down now?
I think so, Your Honor.
Well then, the prosecution would like to call its next witness.
Very well, go right ahead.
Oh, ooh.
Witness, your name and occupation.
Oh,
Please?
let me think of a good voice for this guy.
Hold on, I'm not ready just yet.
That book he's reading can't be that important, can it? Oh no.
The title bequeathed to me upon my birth is that of one Mr. Edwin Sharp. As of late, I have commissioned myself to the pursuit of intellectualism. More specifically, I have enjoined my knowledge to the service of Mr. Credence O'Brien, dedicating myself to the field of astronomy as I continue my pursuance on my own intellectual... apotheosis, yes!
You're what now?
Apotheosis, apex, acme, pinnacle.
This isn't real. This is all just a bad dream. Apollo, he's only just taken the stand. I don't want to decode anything else. No, please no. The synonyms, they're too much.
About a few of the other things you just said.
Individuals such as yourself will never reach their own personal zenith if they provoke solutions from their peers, Your Honor.
That's, very wise of you.
Ah, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. You must be quite wise yourself to recognize my talents.
As we can all see, our witness is a man of great intellectual pursuits, so, let's just make this as quick as possible. Please?
Seconded. Edwin Sharp, huh? What is it? I'm sure I've heard Andrea talking about this guy before, or... Well, they are co-workers, and well, he's pretty unforgettable already.
Oh, you've heard of me, have you?
Yeah?
Have you perhaps read any of my published work? Like perhaps a meditation on the lifetimes of distant stars and their impacts on our solar system? Sharp Picture 2024. Or maybe even Proposal for the Improvement of Astronomical Spectroscopy using techniques from electron microscopy. Sharp Airing Orion et al. 2026.
No, I don't think I have.
Oh. Well, I just so happen to have copies right here. I know science is oft out of the peer view of the layman, but please, do read, do read.
Thank you.
And do share your enlightenment when you are done, good people of the court.
I'll, consider it.
Good.
I'm just gonna quietly put these aside right here. And later I'm gonna put them in a shredder. Still, I swear I know this guy from somewhere. Hey, wait, can I see your evidence for a second? Sure, go ahead. No, not you. Not you either. Aha! I thought so. The newspaper article?
Quite erudite of you, Mr. Tarrant. Yes, I am muddled in the affair of that scandal your paper so outlines. More specifically, it was my fine research your client trying to imitate. Not that I can't understand her motive, my astrological scrutinizations are quite fine. But to purloin from those already wallowing so in obscurity, to abuse such cruel fortune, how very debauched.
Well, at least I got a bit of a better grasp on the plagiarism situation. Not sure if it was worth it, though.
Mr. Payne, could we please move on to the testimony?
Right! Mr. Sharp just so happened to be one of the last employees to leave that day.
Yes, as one would expect from one of my disposition. Oh. Why are you interrupting me?
Oh, oops, totally a mistake on my part. Hey, why don't we just move on from this bit and let the prosecution finish what he was saying?
Yes, I was going to ask you, witness. Why don't you tell everyone what happened as you were leaving work that day?
Very well then, if you are all so eager, who am I to decline?
Witness testimony. What happened that day?
Considering I was near vacating my vacation one, we can surmise that it was hereabouts 8 o'clock p.m. I inhabited the topmost level of a facility when I overheard unpalatable discourse from the balcony. I merely assumed my co-worker was facing denouement for a reason malfeasance at the time. But as I was devising my leave, I descried Andrea hastening down the stairwell. Upon reflection, she did slam down the trunk of that car rather quickly as I egressed into the front garden. I fear I simply considered her livid in the moment. I was too much of a genteel to assume her true crime.
Alright, I think I understand the general idea of what he's trying to say. Or I hope I do at least. Just to be clear, you said you saw her slam down the car's trunk from the research center's entrance, right?
Essentially, yes, I did say so.
So, where exactly is the parking lot relative to where you were? Did anyone mention that?
I see the problem. Here, this should make it clear enough that the witness's account is indeed possible.
Research center diagram added to the court record.
So as you can discern, my testimony should more than suffice for the prosecution's peroration.
Of course. As I'm sure you can see now, Your Honor, I provided a motive, decisive evidence, and multiple witness testimonies. Here, Flip. If I'm not an outstandingly qualified prosecutor, I don't know who is.
Why, yes, you have been quite a bit more thorough than usual.
Well then, if you've been so thorough, I don't think you'd mind a cross-examination, would you?
Well, why, of course, I wouldn't. Cross-examine away.
You wanted something, Apollo? Well, we've got to get somewhere. Don't panic, just go after him. Besides, I bet the judge is already super confused, so you just need to sound confident. Not so loud, please.
What are you shouting about over there, Mr. Justice?
Well, we're just getting really amped up about this cross-examination, that's all.
Well, don't leave me out. I want to get amped up too.
On it, Your Honor. What happened that day?
Considering I was near vacating my vacation, we can surmise that it was hereabouts 8 o'clock p.m.
Press. You mean to say that you were about to leave work and it was 8 in the evening? Right?
Yes, well done, well done.
Why does he have to look so pleased? Just to be clear, this all happened over the course of a few minutes, correct?
Why, most certainly, I'm not the type to squander my future opportunities when departing from my vocation. There are several tactical efficiencies that can be employed for the welfare of your future. All they require is that you take some time in the past. So of course I took some time to ready my workspace for the work of the morrow.
Oh, I see. I'm, sorry for assuming so little of you.
Not a problem. It's quality atypical of most my age. I assure you my tendencies are above others of my ilk. They are possessed by seldom other few.
You've got that right. Oh my god. Apollo's clapbacks are so freaking good.
I inhabited the topmost level of a facility when I overheard unpalatable discourse from the balcony.
Press that. What exactly did you overhear?
Overhear only by chance, you mean? As I have raised no, as I am a well-brought-up gentleman. Of course, eavesdropping is bad, boys. Unfortunately, human ears are not infallible. I can make out only basic auditory sensation, but no more. Though what I could amass logically followed hitherto events. I could perceive the nature of both voices with some ease, as they were the victims and the defendants. As for the tone of the conversation, it was less than congenial.
And are you confident the voices came from the balcony?
Of course, it's the only pragmatic conclusion. Nobody inhabited my immediate surroundings and the lights had been vanquished in all other rooms. I am usually one of the last ones to leave work, you see. I'm quite invested in my personal pursuit of knowledge.
If you say so.
I merely assume my coworker was facing denouement for a recent malfeasance at the time.
Press that too. You mean you thought she was getting fired?
Yes, very good, though there's no need to put it so basely.
There's no need to put it so weirdly.
I simply won't afford any respect to your personage if you can't demonstrate your intelligence.
Don't I get points for piecing your nonsense together? That shows intelligence.
I do suppose you can claim as such, but yes, it seemed only natural that Mr. Orion would dispatch her of her appointment after such a scandal. So that's all I assumed was happening at the time. Nothing wrong with that, is there?
Why, of course not!
But as I was devising my leave, I descried Andrea hastening down the stairwell.
Oh, wait, hang on a sec. Let me go back. Press! So you think this was just after she committed the murder?
Yes, she must have done the deed. On reflection, something was certainly wrong with her. Psychology?
Her psychology? What?
Well, yes, you would assume something of that sort if someone had committed a murder, right?
She was running downstairs so she could be the first to get to the body after all. Hardly a normal thought. Oh yes, and there was something about her physiognomy that was equally unsettling as well.
Really subtle, guys, really subtle.
Upon reflection, she did slam down the trunk of that car rather quickly as they egressed into the front garden.
Press. So before you heard about the murder, the only thing that seemed strange that day was her behavior?
Why yes, but that doesn't make my account worthless. If I may get philosophical for a moment.
No! No, please?
A specimen such as murder is a truly towards—
Alright, I think we punished the defense enough. Let's move on.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for coming to my rescue. Oh, I didn't get to read that.
All right, Mr. Sharp, we just believe that such a fine report deserves to be
its own occasion? I mean, it's clearly going to be quite a lot to take in.
Very well then. I fear I simply considered her livid in the moment. I was too much of a genteel to assume her true crime.
Oh god, I didn't get to press. A genteel? Really?
Is something wrong with that? It simply didn't cross my mind that someone I knew would commit a murder. Is such optimism so stunning to you, Mr. Justice?
Well, I suppose that's normal enough.
Actually, sure, let's leave it there. So how much longer do we have to listen to this guy talk? I mean, half of what he says is just him showing off how he can read a book anyway. He didn't have to tell me that. If you really want, I could go try to find a thesaurus for you too. Would that help? Not really. How about you just stay here so I don't feel like I'm suffering alone? Can do. Okay, time to find the contradiction. As I was devising my leave, I descried Andrea hastening down the stairwell. She slammed the trunk of her car rather quickly. But you were livid in the moment to assume her true crime. So before you heard about the murder, the only thing that seemed strange that day was her behavior. Really? But she was hastening down the stairwell at the time, which means more than likely she was already, the body had already fallen into the sundial. So he didn't catch any of the stuff, any of the, like, putting the body in the trunk or anything like that? Oh, there's a luminol button. Hang on. Oh, interesting. I probably should have checked more of the court record as I was going through this. But there's a luminol button, so we can tell whether we can tell where the blood is. And there seems to be only blood on the sundial. So wait, why didn't Edwin Sharp catch any of the blood on the sundial? Why didn't he do that? Hang on. I fear I simply considered her livid in the moment. I was too much of a genteel to assume her true crime. And yet, you didn't see the blood? Yes! We got it! Okay, alright, I'm on a roll. So, nothing else caught your eye when you were leaving the building? Nothing at all?
No.
Oh, really? But didn't you say you saw her slam down the trunk as you left? Someone like yourself should be able to put together what that implies. Am I wrong, Mr. Sharp?
Well, she'd have to have been just then hiding the body.
If that's the case, I'm pretty sure there's something else you should have noticed. Oh! What's wrong? Do you need this picture to help you? Don't you see those luminol markings there, Mr. Sharp? They mark exactly where the sundial was covered in blood. Tell me, why didn't you testify about seeing blood everywhere?
Well, the reason the blood
Oh,
The reason is beyond obvious. The defendant had already cleaned up the bloodstains by the time he was leaving.
and how would she have managed that, Mr. Payne?
Well, just look at the photo. Did you notice the pool of water around the sundial? It's part of the irrigation system for the shrubs out front. Plus, each of the employees are assigned a lab coat to wear exclusively during work hours. She hadn't left work yet. She could have used that to clean off the sundial.
Mr. Sharp implied she was stuffing the body into the trunk as he left. The only way she could have cleaned off the sundial first is if she'd taken the body off it and put him down somewhere. And I don't see any other bloodstains anywhere on the scene.
What if she put the victim down in the water? A luminol test couldn't possibly produce results that way.
Tell me then, Mr. Payne, did the police happen to find a drenched body in the trunk of that car? Yeah, exactly. The body wasn't even soaked. Ah! Wow, you're really going after him. Is it too much? Not at all. That was awesome. We got this.
Witness, it's beyond obvious that you should have seen blood at the crime scene.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I made a terrible mistake on my part.
Is that so?
The truth is, I did see the blood.
If you saw the blood, then why didn't you report the murder to the police? Why would you give false testimony?
Please, I want to explain. Let me explain.
All right, explain, witness. Why didn't report her?
The truth is, when I exited the building, I heard an exclamation from above me. My natural yearning for knowledge compelled me to try to get a view of the action. I saw Andrea place both her hands on Mr. O'Brien's chest and pushed him over the balcony's railing. Thing is, she glanced down into the front garden after it happened. I don't know if she saw me or not, but at the time I was convinced. I ran home in fear as fast as I could. It wasn't until later I mustered up the courage to call in as a less vital witness.
Okay then, that's different.
You don't look too well, Mr. Payne. Is it too much to assume you have suspicions regarding this testimony?
What? No! Of course not! After all, we did get a call for this witness a few hours after Mr. Tarrant's initial report.
Oh. How does the prosecution explain its witness's previous testimony then? The fact that he was lying pretty much the whole time.
Well, you see, my witness clearly values his, professional image. To admit to such cowardice would be, well, quite demeaning of his character, right, witness?
Yes, I am afraid my last testimony was a farce in part.
In part? How about in whole?
Yes, I guess. You see, it would be reprehensible not to aid society. I had to help to distribute due justice. I was under social obligation to testify. However, I, like most humans, am a prideful being. I would have liked to avoid admitting to the shame of my, flight. A stoic like me fleeing at the sight of a murder. Hiding in my home, not reporting what I'd seen until well after, ignoring my duty to justice. I'm afraid I capitulated to an unnatural emotional response at the time.
You see, Your Honor, people like the two of us don't quite like admitting to cowardice.
The whole five of us, I dare say.
It is true, I've seen several peculiar written reasons for a witness to lie in my time as judge.
Yeah, a lot.
If we've really gotten down to the truth of the matter, well, for your sake, Mr. Sharp, you best hope your testimony can hold up to scrutiny.
Of course it will.
Very well then, defense, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright. Let's cross-examine you. Why didn't report her?
The truth is, when I exited the building, I heard an exclamation from above me.
Press. So you still say you heard the two of them arguing?
Well, yes, it wasn't my objective to obstruct justice after all. I realize now it was very petty of me to try to, inoculate my reputation in such a way. But they did argue, I promise. I tried to be a just citizen. I tried to include as many truths as possible. Is that not noble, Your Honor?
Would have been better to just tell the whole truth.
Of course, who would be more fitting to judge me than Your Honorliness?
Well, it certainly would have been better for you to tell the truth from the outset.
but for someone in the same situation as myself?
I suppose there is some nobleness to it.
Yes, yes, see? I was justified in my actions. Indeed I was.
Come on, really? Come on, that was pathetic.
My natural yearning for knowledge compelled me to try to get a view of the action.
Press. How exactly did you get a clear view of the balcony? That's a good question.
Well, with the simple knowledge of spatial awareness and perspective, of course. Here, let me provide the court with a visual.
Oh.
Upon hearing and the shouting and the surmising it came from above, I stepped further out in the garden to observe. The events of that day are etched clearly into my mind, so I'm pretty sure I was standing there. That checks out, doesn't it?
Oh. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say it seems fine for now, and then after I press every statement, I'll come back. So seems fine. Yeah, it's totally good. Well, yeah, I guess it checks out. I don't think there's all that much we can get out of that.
I saw Andrea place both her hands on Mr. Orion's chest and push him over the balcony's railing.
Let's press that. Are you sure you were able to see that far up so clearly? I mean, the balcony is what, 3-4 stories high? 3 stories. So it would have been about 30 feet up, right?
It's true, I saw the events clearly. I no longer have any reason to lie. You may not know that these spectacles are only to cure farsightedness. I can see objects that are far away perfectly fine.
How are you even able to look through those tiny lenses in the first place? Oh, that's true! How the heck are you doing that?
You should not question the ingenuity of an intellectual.
Okay then, sure. Oh, I see.
The thing is, she glanced down into the front garden after it happened.
So that's why you thought she saw you?
Why, yes. It was just a brief glance. In reality, she may not have even noticed me. But I was apodoically sure she had seen me in that moment. I must apologize. If not for my curiosity, I would have been a much useful witness.
There, it's all right. Why, I remember when I refused to present circumstantial evidence of what they call foolish pride. But once I did, the case was smooth sailing for me. I'm sure we've all done something similar in our lifetimes.
Yes, it was just foolish pride, of course.
It sounds just plain foolish to me.
I don't know if she saw me or not, but at the time I was convinced. I ran home in fear as fast as I could.
Press. You ran home?
Well, not quite ran, per se. You see, I simply used a vehicle made for transport.
A car?
Well, not quite.
Public transport?
Yes, I ran home in fear, utilizing the majesty of public transport.
That makes the story just a little less dramatic.
More specifically, by means of city bus. But I ran into the bus, and I ran up the stairs into my apartment, so my words fit just as well.
Come on. Is that really what's important here?
It wasn't until later I mustered up the courage to call in as a less vital witness.
Oh, wait. I forgot to press. Press. But wouldn't it have been safer for you to call the police as soon as possible?
Perhaps, but the human mind functions strangely under pressure, good Mr. Justice.
When did I become good, Mr. Justice? Now are you sucking up to me?
I merely thought any further connection with the crime would make things worse for myself. It is because of that your good co-counsel, Mr. Tarrant, called in before me, despite when we discovered the bodies. So ultimately, for peace of mind and peace of reputation, I decided to call in with my previous testimony. Do forgive me, good members of the court.
Alright, there has to be something wrong with this testimony. Yeah, because Andre is innocent. And because I'd really appreciate it right about now. Hey, Apollo, give me some cool legal tips so I can feel helpful. Look at the evidence. A lot. Is that really the best you could come up with? Just trust me, you don't want to know what qualifies as a cool legal tip back at the office. Who was your boss, though? What qualifies as a cool legal tip, then? Okay, so this was the one that... Okay, so this is the one with the checking out thing. Maybe I can check the evidence? So far, I don't see that anything that could contradict what he said. But you know what? I mean, we might as well try it, right? See if it does anything. It's not fine, obviously. Of course it doesn't. In fact, it directly contradicts the events of the day.
How exactly is that?
Well, you see, if he moved from under the balcony, then...
Then what? It contradicts absolutely nothing.
I'm afraid I still fail to see any conclusions that can be drawn.
Wait, what? Wait, I don't get an option to choose?
You should know what that means by now, Mr. Justice.
Uh-oh. I'm kind of new at this, so,
Then why don't you take this kind of new penalty?
Dang it, Judge! Why you gotta have good clapbacks, too? Yikes. I guess I should have thought that one through one more time. Oh. Wait, okay, so you won't even choose evidence there? Dang. Okay. Alright, that was a good fake out. You got me, MasqueradeDemure, you got me. So then what is the actual contradiction? Hang on, let me save. What is the actual contradiction? You saw Andrea place both her hands on Mr. Orion's chest and push him over the balcony's railing. Okay, but the fingerprints aren't really on his chest, right? It looks more like they're grabbing the outside of his coat. Does that qualify as anything? I don't know, but you know what? Might as well try it, right? At the worst case scenario, I have save states, so I can use the power of time. It worked! Yes! All right. My winning streak was lost, but you know what? I still got it. Mr. Sharp, you said that you saw my client push the victim over the railing. What's more, she placed her hands flat on his chest to do so, correct? Yes. If you take a look at the prints on this lab coat... I don't see any problems with them. Those are her fingerprints. They're positioned exactly where he saw them that day. That's funny. Your testimony seemed to suggest that she pushed him over by placing both hands on his chest. But if you look at the evidence, you can see quite clearly that wasn't possible. The fingerprints are way too close together for him to have been pushed that way. Ah! It looks far more likely that the defendant would have grabbed the victim by the coat, not pushed him.
Objection! So what if the fingerprints are off? It's possible the witness could have just misremembered. It's a small detail after all. Besides, those prints specifically don't have to be from the motion that did the man in. The defendant could have still managed to push the victim off in any number of ways. You can still shove someone off a balcony without replicating the exact motion our witness suggested. Your contradiction means nothing. Unless, of course, you have evidence to prove me wrong.
Evidence, right, let's see. Do I have any evidence that proves how the victim had to be shoved? Maybe the autopsy report? I mean, the autopsy report would make the most sense, but I'm not entirely sure how. Look at the autopsy report! Oh, it worked, okay. It states clearly that our victim fell flat on his back. I'd imagine it would be quite difficult for that to happen if the victim hadn't been shoved directly in the chest. Oh, that's true. That's very true. Okay, yeah, I did read that.
So the witness says that he saw the defendant push the victim directly into the chest. And that would have to be the case given his injuries. But the fingerprints don't match at all.
That sounds about right, Your Honor.
Where does that leave us then?
Well, I hadn't thought of that bit. I guess something has to be off about the lab coat then?
The lab coat? Wait, that's my decisive evidence. I need it to check out.
He's right. If I can just cast suspicion on the lab coat, the prosecution loses a lot of its case. Ooh, okay. Alright, all I need to do is place more doubt on the evidence. What else is wrong with it? Okay. The blood, I think the blood stain is fine because it's directly in the chest and he got stabbed through the chest with the sundial, right? So I don't think it's the blood stain is wrong. Did Andrea wear gloves? I don't know whether Andrea wears gloves. I probably should have checked that. Wouldn't the victim's prints be on it though, right? Because like, it is his coat, right? So if his prints weren't found on it, maybe Payne didn't mention it because it wasn't relevant, but I feel like, you know what? I'm just gonna say someone's prints are missing because I feel like that makes the most sense. Yes. Okay. I think it was right. Mr. Payne, forensics checked this lab coat thoroughly for fingerprints, correct?
Well, yes.
And did you find fingerprints other than Miss Medina's?
Well, no, of course we didn't. It's not easy to find clear fingerprints from fabric, you know.
But you didn't even find the slightest trace of somebody else's?
No?
That just doesn't check out. Your Honor, I propose that the lab coat doesn't just have misplaced fingerprints, but missing fingerprints as well.
Missing fingerprints? That doesn't make any sense. fingerprints could possibly be missing?
You want to know who? Then I can tell you. The other person who should have left prints on the coat is the victim, right? The victim. Victim, 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 victim. Victim, Credence O'Ryan. Present! It's simple. If the lab coat belonged to the victim, why didn't you find any hint of his fingerprints on it? It's his lab coat. It should have been absolutely covered in them.
Yeah!
But Mr. Justice, what exactly does this all mean?
What does it mean? If I'm going to get anywhere with this case, I'll need to see this all the way through, won't I? And for one piece of evidence to create so many contradictions, either my logic is wrong or something with the evidence is. And the only reason I can think of for so many inconsistencies with one piece of evidence is if someone tampered with it. But if I take that line of reasoning any further, I'm probably going to have to implicate someone as well. And considering that the lab coat the police found has the victim's blood on it, should I really do this? This isn't even supposed to be my case. I'm hardly even a professional. If I mess this up, I could be directly responsible for someone else's life. Apollo, come on, it's obvious. But don't back down now. If you have your suspicions, go for them. You already have someone else's life in your hands, don't you? Right. I have to do... that should be Apollo, right? Right, I have to do this. One way or another, someone's already going to have their life changed irreparably from this trial. You'll be fine. Your Honor, I propose that somebody would have had to have tampered with the lab coat.
Why, yes, that does seem like the only logical answer.
But how would it have even been done? You're not trying to implicate me or anything, are you?
No, I don't think that's something you would have been able to pull off. The coat would have needed both the victim's blood and Andrea's prints on it, right? Both of those would have to be genuine. Stuff like that's hard to fake. Wait a second.
Plus, each of the employees are assigned a lab coat to wear exclusively during work hours.
So the killer would have to be an employee? So then it could only be Edwin Sharp then, right?
She hadn't left work yet. She could have used that to clean off the sundial.
What if... Your Honor, if the victim's fingerprints should have been all over his lab coat, then it should follow that my client should have been all over hers, correct? What if someone swapped out the lab coat the victim was wearing with my client's?
But who could have done that?
Oh, it's his client's lab coat. I see. Well, I knew this was coming. Here goes Apollo. No turning back now. Your Honor, the person who switched the lab coats has to be Edwin Sharp. Has to be. I don't have much proof yet, but the only one who would have had the opportunity would have to be an employee. And his actions so far have just been too suspicious. Edwin Sharp, you could have pulled it off easily. What? No. That's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Think about it. You're one of the few people that has direct access to the employee lab coats. You even have motive to frame my client. You believe she copied your research after all.
There's no evidence he's done anything. All you've done is prattle on about mere possibilities.
Mr. Justice.
Yes, Your Honor?
The prosecution is right. If the defense proceeds with this line of questioning, it's expected that you'll be able to prove it to me. And everything it will eventually entail. Do you understand the weight of your accusation, Mr. Justice?
Yes, I know exactly where this line of logic leads us.
Very well then. I'd like to call a brief visit. This changes the course of a trial quite a bit. Prosecution, defense. I expect you both to have your cases reassembled by the time we reconvene. That is all.
Bang that gavel and let's get on with our recess. Actually, I'm going to end the video off right here because this video has gone on for a while. This is longer than my Omori videos, actually. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this game. So far, I'm having so much fun with it. The writing is so well done, and it genuinely feels like an Ace Attorney game. Even the logic kind of flows well, too, like a Phoenix Wright game. I enjoy the testimonies, and I enjoy how they're well laid out. There's nothing I've been, like, too stuck on anyway, and everything's made sense, so I'm really impressed with this fan game. And I hope you guys enjoyed me playing it just as much. And if you like this video and you want to see more, or if you think I'm really dumb and you want to see me fail more often, you can check out the other videos on this channel, as well as my Geometry Dash Completion channel, and even my Twitch channel where I stream relatively frequently. Thank you guys, you're all amazing, and I hope to see each and every one of you very soon. Bye! Peace!